AITA for refusing to pay for my daughter's wedding after finding out her fiancé used to bully my son? I, 50M, am a father to two amazing kids. My daughter Emily, 25F, and my son Jake, 23M. They've always been the light of my life, and despite their differences in personality, they've both grown into people I'm incredibly proud of. Emily has always been outgoing, confident, and headstrong. Jake, on the other hand, is more reserved and introspective. He's kind, sensitive, and one of the most empathetic people I know. Jake came out as gay when he was in high school. I'll never forget that evening. He sat my wife and me down, tears in his eyes, and told us the truth about who he was. We were so proud of him, but there was fear too, not because of anything about Jake himself, but because we knew how cruel the world could be. And unfortunately, our fears weren't unfounded. High school became a nightmare for Jake after he came out. The bullying wasn't just casual teasing, it was vicious. Name-calling, social exclusion, physical intimidation. My wife and I did everything we could. We spoke to the school administration, who were largely useless, encouraged Jake to speak to a counselor, and tried to create the safest, most loving home environment possible. But despite our efforts, there were nights I found Jake crying in his room. There were days he begged me not to make him go back to school. He became withdrawn and anxious, and the spark he'd once had dimmed. Those years were some of the hardest for our family. Eventually, Jake graduated, got into a good college, and started to heal. Today, he's doing so much better. He's in a loving relationship, has a great group of friends, and seems genuinely happy. But those scars? They're still there. They don't just disappear. Emily has been dating her fiancé, Mark, 27M, for about 2 years now. Honestly, I hadn't met him until last month because they live out of state and schedules just never aligned. But Emily was always gushing about him. How kind he is, how well he treats her, and how excited she was to spend her life with him. When Emily and Mark finally came to visit us for dinner, I was ready to welcome him with open arms. But the moment Mark walked through the door, I froze. His face was instantly recognizable to me. He was one of them, one of the boys who made my son's life a living hell. At first, I tried to keep my composure. People change, right? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was just some bizarre coincidence. I stayed polite throughout the dinner, but the pit in my stomach wouldn't go away. Later that night, when Emily and Mark had gone to their hotel, I sat down with Jake and asked him directly. "Jake," I said, "Mark, was he one of the guys from high schools?" Jake went quiet. He looked down at his hands, sighed deeply, and then nodded. "Yeah, Dad. He was." He told me that Mark wasn't the worst of the bullies, but he was still an active participant. He laughed at the cruel jokes. He spread the rumors. He stood by and let worse things happen without intervening. Jake then said something that broke my heart. "But Dad, it's okay. I've moved on. I'm happy now, and I don't want this to cause any drama. Please don't say anything to Emily." I nodded, but inside, I was reeling. Over the next week, I wrestled with my feelings. Emily called to talk about wedding plans, venues, caterers, dresses, and every conversation felt like sandpaper on my soul. How could I, in good conscience, financially support a wedding that would make Mark an official part of our family? Finally, I couldn't keep it in anymore. I sat Emily down over a phone call and told her the truth. I said I recognized Mark from Jake's high school days and that I knew about his involvement in the bullying. I told her that while I love her and want her to be happy, I can't bring myself to contribute financially to a wedding that includes someone who caused our family so much pain. Emily was stunned silent at first. Then the anger came. "Dad, that was years ago. People grow up. People change. He's not that person anymore." I told her I understood that people change, but I also told her that actions have consequences. And for me, this wasn't something I could just overlook. She accused me of punishing her for something she had no part in. She said I was being petty and vindictive. I stayed calm and told her that she was still welcome to get married to Mark, and I'd still attend the wedding if invited. But I wouldn't be paying for it. Since that conversation, things have been tense. Emily has stopped calling me. My wife is caught in the middle. She sees my perspective but also thinks I should reconsider for Emily's sake. She believes Mark has grown, that he regrets his actions, and that it's unfair to hold teenage behavior against him forever. Jake, meanwhile, is staying neutral. He told me he doesn't want to be the reason for family drama, but I can see the weight of the situation on his shoulders. He's retreating into himself again, trying to disappear from the tension. Emily sent me a long text last week. She said she felt betrayed by me, that she thought I'd always support her happiness, and now I'm making her wedding about Jake. She said Mark has expressed deep regret for his actions in high school, and that he's worked hard to become a better man. I didn't reply because, honestly, I don't know what to say. I love Emily. I really do. And I believe her when she says Mark has changed. But there's a part of me that can't get past the image of Jake crying in his room, begging not to go back to school. There's a part of me that feels like funding this wedding would be turning my back on my son and the pain he endured. At the same time, I'm terrified that I'm pushing Emily away. I'm scared that this will leave a permanent scar on our relationship and that I'll regret my decision for the rest of my life. I feel like I'm being asked to choose between my two children, and no matter what I do, someone is going to end up hurt. I've been avoiding Emily's calls lately because I just don't have an answer for her. My wife is urging me to reconsider, but she's also said she'll support whatever decision I make. Jake keeps saying he's fine, but I know he isn't. I keep coming back to the same question. Am I doing the right thing? Or am I just letting old wounds fester and refusing to let go of the past? Reddit, AITA?